Hello and welcome. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. I'd like to thank our sponsors at Procyon Partners. Procyon, one of the top 50 fastest growing companies in the nation. They specialize in employee benefits, wealth management, and retirement planning. President Sean Rabinowitz, proud supporter of our podcast network and everything we do. Green Street Trust International, owned and operated by Rennell Jump and UConn legendary men's basketball player Jake Voskuhl. They specialize in tax plans for businesses large or small. They will save you money or get you a big fat return on your taxes. To schedule your free strategic tax planning session today, go to www.greenstreettrust.com. Pete Finch and the Finch Law Firm is located in Bridgeport, Connecticut. If you've suffered any type of personal injury, slip and fall, a car accident, your mother-in-law ran you over with her car, your wife got angry one night and decided to stab you, the Finch Firm is for you. Pete has won legal battles all across the state of Connecticut. He will go to war to get every dollar you deserve in compensation. You just have to remember, in a pinch, call Finch or go to his website, thefinchfirm.com. Dynamic Human Performance is owned and operated by UConn legendary running back Andre Dixon. He trains boys and girls of all ages, all sports. He has a boot camp program 7 days a week, 6 a.m. You want to get in shape, you go to Andre. He has an athletic development program where he trains boys and girls in the sport of their choice from the ground up, helps them reach their full potential, be the best they can possibly be. Andre has sent boys and girls to college on scholarship for all different types of sports. To work with the best, he has a 5,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility in Hartford, Connecticut. Go to www.dynamichumanperformance.com. All right, and here we are for our favorite show, Conversations with Cully and Conlon. I'm your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully, and with me as always, she is the UConn Women's legend basketball player, Western Connecticut State University head coach, part-time carpenter, part-time movie star, part-time wealth management player. She does it all. She'll do bartend and cook you meals too. Maria Conlon.
Good morning. That's quite the intro. I like that.
I know. You deserve it. You deserve it.
I even have I have your buddy with me today. Pause. Say hi.
Oh, there he is. He's got the bandana on. I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
He got his Easter swag on today. He's
I love it.
running some errands. I'm also, this is for all the parents out there who have kids.
It's spring week. Erica told me.
Well, Layla has spring break next week, but my comment was going to be, and I'm sure Erica can appreciate this. My daughter is notorious. I love her to death, but she's notorious for forgetting something at home. So today she wanted to donate children's books for something that they're doing, and she left them on the island. So I get the text, can you do me a favor? Don't kill me. Can you drive me down? So Paz and I just took the ride to Notre Dame Fairfield, dropped off the books, and now we're heading home. So.
And you know what? Again, that shows the type of person Maria Conlon is.
I really wanted to tell her to go scratch today, but I can't. She's too good of. I did it for the kids.
It's for a good cause. Cause.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to ask you, because we didn't get to ask on our last show with Joe about the UConn women. With the roster coming back next year, obviously Sarah Strong is going to take charge, and she already has pretty much been the top player. Which other returning player do you think can take a leap and grow and be dynamic and be, another AZ Fudd or a Sarah Strong in that category?
Well, I think Blanca is positioned really nicely to step into that. She had her freshman year where she really was that third head that they needed. Now I think she's perfectly positioned to move into that second head and get that starting nod and really be a consistent scorer for them. I think KK will continue to do her thing. I'm excited to get Morgan Shelley back.
I didn't know she was out for the year, right?
Yeah, she redshirted. I don't even really know specifically what injury she had, but she got some minutes her freshman year.
Yes, she had some big shots.
Yeah, so I'm excited to get her back and see what she can do in the off season. Obviously, I think the staff is probably hitting the portal hard this week and next week to see what they can line up for next year. I think we definitely got to snag a couple kids out of the portal. So, I know Morgan and staff, that's what they're doing this week and next week. There's like 1,500 women's basketball.
It's crazy. Yeah. And it's a shorter period of time as well, which makes things very challenging. Do you know, if there's a possibility of anyone who could transfer that comes to mind at all immediately?
Danielle's panicking. Yeah, sorry, I got a text because Danielle's panicking because Paz is not at the house, and she's like, "Where is he?" But I took her for the stroll. But yeah, so I think we definitely gotta pick up some kids in the portal. I think Blanca is really going to step out of her shell even more next year after a full postseason and preseason with us. So I'm really excited about her. I think she's really talented.
She is.
And listen, we have a phenomenal recruit coming out of New York next year, a post player.
Yes.
She's a top 3 recruit. So I'm excited to see what she can do. She could play. I've seen her play a couple of times.
Was that? Don't we also have the Gatorade Player of the Year?
Well, yeah, the New York, same kid.
That's her. Okay. Is there anyone on our roster you could see possibly looking to leave or transfer?
Not really. You got.
They look like they had good chemistry.
It's such a hard place to leave. I think, we've had a couple over the last couple of years, but I think, those kids were more, they had some opportunities to play and they just didn't fit the style and what we were trying to do, and they kind of saw the writing on the wall. I don't know that we really have anybody on our roster right now that feels that way. And I think it's such a, listen, I wouldn't be surprised maybe if we saw one, but, like I said, you're playing at the basketball capital of the world for the best coach in the country. Facilities are amazing. Atmosphere is amazing. It's a really, really hard place. And it's not like
you're
these kids
adored.
aren't making NIL money there either. So
no, right. That's completely different. I completely understand that. And is there? I know you mentioned Morgan already. Is there another probably under the radar player whose development you could see swinging this season and becoming like the X Factor? I'm using X Factor again, said the unsung hero.
Yeah, X Factor is probably a stretch. Listen, our coaching staff is really great with development.
Yes.
So I think that we'll see all of our kids improve. Listen, Allie Zivel had a good year. I'd love to see her come out of her shell a little bit more going into her junior year. I think we can definitely see some of that. We still haven't seen the best of El Affy, with a fully, healthy season. So, there's always that variable too. But, and then there's a couple of freshmen that we didn't get to see this year, either due to injury or whatnot. So, there's always a possibility of those coming out of their shell next year too. So, yeah, listen, we have a good foundation of kids returning. I think at this time next year, probably be a little bit of a different conversation because we gotta replace KK, we gotta replace Shade, we gotta replace
Right.
a couple of the other kids. So yeah, I mean, I think we're in good shape. I think if we line up a couple kids in the portal and we get our freshmen in there and get them going, and Blanca, we keep her rolling, and we'll be in good shape.
So just going on to the WNBA, I had wanted to ask, they just approved officially the 3 new expansion teams through 2030. And I believe I read the Connecticut team is moving Houston,
Yeah,
which
which was
shocked the
one of
hell
the
out of me.
original. Well,
Yes.
what's funny is Houston was one of the original teams, and they were a powerhouse in the beginning, and they actually had a really great fan base out there.
Yes.
I'm not really sure what happened and why that franchise folded. I don't remember that far back, but I mean, listen, I'm disappointed for Connecticut because the Sun, I feel like, had a really strong following. You have the best basketball program in the country is in state, so it's kind of a basketball state. We don't have any other professional teams here.
No.
So it's disappointing from that standpoint, but I think it was more a financial decision.
And I think you were right about the location where they played.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
it's definitely not. I mean, players didn't want to play in Uncasville. I mean, there's not, it's not like all the other franchises where you get to play in a really big city where there's a lot going on and whatnot. But, so you had a lot of players that you couldn't necessarily retain when it came to free agency. So, that was a little bit tough. But, yeah, I mean, I think they'll do well in Houston. I think it's a great market. Obviously they have the Rockets out there as well. So not a horrible move, just disappointing from a Connecticut standpoint. But, overall, and listen, the draft is next week. I think the draft's going to be really fun. There's a lot of talent coming out. Dallas with the number 1 pick again. So I know there's been a lot of speculation. I've seen AZ Fudd predicted. I've seen Lauren Betts predicted. I've seen a kid from overseas predicted. I've seen Olivia Miles predicted. So, it'll be really interesting to see who Dallas goes with that first pick, and that will kind of dictate the flow of the first 5 picks. Washington, I think, has the 4th pick. And
they fired their general manager, which I was surprised.
Washington did?
Yeah. Because I thought they had a good young team last year. They built through the draft.
Yeah, there's always been some rumblings down there about the general manager and them not really aligning with what they want to accomplish as a franchise. So that
because that's the coach's daughter that you coach.
No. He's the head coach. He's not the general manager. He's doing
right. But I mean the head coach. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm always partial to them. They had a great draft last year. They'll get their Georgia Amore back off injury this year, and obviously they have a top 4 pick. So depending on how those top 4 picks, trickle down, that they'll have a solid pick at number 4 with a lot of really, really good options. So, it's going to be it's a deep draft. I think it's actually deeper than last year's. A lot of really good players in the mix. So it'll be, nice to see some young new faces. They got that new minimum contract in force, which will be great for them.
They do.
So it'll be good. I mean, I think there's a lot of young talent out there that can really come in and make some impacts on some franchises. So it's exciting.
What were your thoughts at free agency started? What were your thoughts on the Angel Reese trade?
I think it was necessary. I mean, listen, I said it from the beginning. I didn't love that pick for Chicago back when they picked it. They pick her and Camila Cardoza in the same draft, and they're not the same player, but they give you similar stats. They got to kind of revamp what they're doing out there, and I think that's a good start. I mean, to me, she's not a player you can build around.
Yeah.
From a basketball standpoint, I mean, you take the marketing and all that other stuff out of the mix, but yeah, I mean,
2 first-round picks.
Yeah, it's I think and like I said, I mean, listen, there's so much talent. If you can pick it right, I think draft strategy's got to be really strong there. you can pick up a couple players that can kind of right the ship there, because they've had a lot of turmoil the last couple of years with different coaches and
Correct.
draft picks not working out, kids getting traded, kids wanting to leave. So, they got to figure out a way to get it moving forward.
So 10 of the 15 teams have extended core qualifying offers to players since free agency started, which means it's like the NFL free agent franchise tag. Well, they'll get paid the max salary, but anyone can match it to get them, and they have to give up a first round pick. Yep. Sabrina, I can't say her last name. Ionescu.
Yep.
Nafisa Collier got it. Kelsey Mitchell, Kelsey Plum, and Arike. I can't even say her last name.
Yep.
The one from Dallas. They were all extended core designation offers. Players who else could get cored? Alicia Gray, Ariel Atkins, and then we have the unrestricted free agents. Portland and Toronto selected in last week's expansion draft. Bridget Carlson and Marina Mabry, who also got qualifying offers. So I think that is phenomenal activity for these players to get the max, which, $1.4 million.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's game-changing money for them. It's what they wanted. It's what they've been fighting for. I think well-deserved, and it's a good starting point. And not only that, but it sets a bar and a standard that these younger guys can work to, which I think is important. It's money that you can actually aspire to, that can be life-changing. So yeah, I mean, it's all good. Obviously, it's still pennies to what the NBA gets, but it's a starting point, and it's in the conversation of really being lucrative for these girls, which is important.
And the Aces are finalizing an agreement for the 4-time All-Star guard Jackie Young to return. How good do you see the Aces being again this year?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be really good again.
They're going to have Asia back, and
yeah, I mean, they got their core group coming back that they had last year. I'm sure they'll pick up somebody in this draft that can maybe help them a little bit. So, yeah, I mean, they're positioned really well. Minnesota's positioned really. Listen, Indiana, there's so many teams positioned really well right now. It should be a really fun WNBA season to watch.
Now, I also read an article about UCLA, and they have 6 graduates who are eligible for the draft and potentially could all get drafted. Do you see them? Do you see that happening? Lauren Betts, and I know the other, the guard, Jaquez, or Gabriella.
I think all 6 will get drafted. I think you'll see at least 3 in the first round.
Right.
That would be my bet. And I think maybe you'll see the other 3 trickling in rounds, in the later rounds. But yeah, I mean, all 6 can play, and I think all 6 can help. I'm not saying all 6 will make a roster, but I think all 6 will get drafted and have an opportunity to go showcase their skills.
And this was a question. Does the WNBA have 2 rounds to the draft or 3?
There's 3 rounds.
3. Okay. And Sandy Brondello, the coach we always talk about, you said she's excellent. She is up in Toronto right now.
Yep.
How do you think she'll do with an expansion team?
Listen, I think expansion teams are hard. I mean,
yeah.
I think what Golden State was able to do last year was a little bit of an anomaly, right? But I think she'll do well. I think Portland will do well. I think that they've hired the back office people that they need to make some really good decisions in the expansion drafts, which I think they did. And I think they'll make some great decisions on the draft next week. It's always going to be trial, by fire. No pun intended, since it is the Portland Fire. But, I'll be a little partial to the Portland Fire since my girl AB is the assistant GM there.
Yeah.
And
I'm so excited for her.
Yeah, I know they've been working really, really hard in the off season to, really zone in on some players that they want and get some things in place. And they've got some, both cities are great cities for basketball, for women's basketball in specific. I mean, I think they've done an amazing job with outreach in the community already, and they'll continue to do that. So I think they're two markets that will grow and will thrive. So I think it's really exciting.
All right, we'll be right back, and then I'll finish up with you. Down south, we have Julius Williams, Jordan Harris, and the rest of the team of the Trench Mob. They train offensive and defensive linemen. They compete in 5v5 tournaments and college showcase camps all across the country. They have sent kids to schools like Florida, Florida State, Miami, Clemson, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, just to name a few. They have sent the highest percentage of kids who work with them to Division I schools on scholarship. To work with the best, go to trenchmobfootball.com. Ned Von Young runs the Fresh Fold Laundry Company in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, a high-end laundry service. You book online, put your laundry out in a clear plastic bag. They pick it up, wash, dry, and fold it for you in 48 hours. They also offer an expedited service if you need that as well. They have an online subscription model, weekly or bi-weekly, where you can get your laundry done that way. They offer deals for college students. So if you want your laundry done, you can do it in your own dorm. They have a pickup and now a delivery service. So you can have your laundry done without leaving the comfort of your own home or dorm room. To sign up, go to their website, my-freshfold.com. All right. So I am going to give you a few rapid fire questions.
Love
Favorite UConn moment from last season? Men or women, I guess I'll give you.
Oh, man. I mean, for the men, it had to be the Mullen shot against Duke. I mean, that kind of overshines everything, honestly.
I know.
I mean, it was so amazing. If I had to pick a women's one, I mean, the UConn women going to their 25th Final Four, historic.
I said that too, yeah.
Just amazing what they've been able to accomplish, over his tenure there. I mean, it's just, he's been there, 41 years?
He's the best coach in the history of college basketball.
Yeah, I mean, you go to the Final Four more times than you don't in your career is pretty remarkable. So I would say that's my favorite on that side.
Yeah. We looked at the schedule. Who do you think is the best non-conference matchup to circle?
Oh, South Carolina in November, for sure.
Easily.
Yeah.
I know, probably, I don't think Sarah can come out. Do we have a WNBA prospect next year that would be worth watching?
Coming out in this draft?
Next year.
Oh, next year. Well, who do we got next year? We got
it would just be KK and Shade.
And I think El Affy.
Yeah.
I can't remember with her redshirt year. But, yeah, I mean, listen, I think Shade and KK will both get drafted. I don't think they're going to be first 5 pick like we've seen in the past. They'll go in as more like role player roles on a squad. So, no, I mean, not in the hoorah year that we'll see the year after that in Sarah.
Right. No, exactly. I agree with you there. What would you say is the most overrated narrative about the UConn women's basketball program?
Ooh, overrated. Oh, gosh. That's a great question. No one's ever asked me that one before. I think like a lot of people view UConn as like this arrogant way about us and that we're like better than now. And I actually think that the UConn program is so grounded and so down to earth. So I would say that's probably overrated, what people say. Or, you know what too, that's overrated is like we make it look so easy every year. like winning just comes so easy and it's like
Yeah, they
automatic.
don't
Like
understand what goes into it.
the work and the dedication and the hours and the blood, sweat, and tears, I think that's overrated. I think people just don't understand how incredibly hard it is to be that successful year in and year out.
For the WNBA, who is one player that you would build your team around coming into the draft, from the draft?
So this draft this year?
Yes.
Woo! Gosh. Listen, I think Lauren Betts can be a game changer at the next level.
That's who I was going to say.
I think she still has some things about her game that she can work on. And listen, she's going to have to deal with way more physicality than she's had to deal with in college. So I think it's not going to be immediate like people are probably going to want and expect. But I think in this draft, probably her. I think, Olivia Miles is another interesting one because I think, she reminds me of like a Chelsea Gray. She's a point guard that can really create a lot of opportunities for her teammates, and she's a pass first point guard. She would probably be the second one that I would tag in this draft class and being able to really, really strongly build around. US players, anyways. I'm not talking European players.
Back to UConn. If you could add one transfer, who would it be?
Hannah Hidalgo.
I agree on that. She is freaking amazing.
Hannah Hidalgo, hands down. I mean, not that she's in the portal or anything, but I think the fire that she plays with and the things that she does, and I think if she was in a different environment, she'd have even more success. Not that I think that she could, because listen, she'd have to tone it down a little bit at UConn, but I hate that she plays for Notre Dame, but I love the passion that she plays with.
And then, we're going to get Juju back next year for USC. How do you think she will do coming off an injury?
I think she's going to be great. And I think the freshman that they had this year, Jazzy, who's really, really good, I think they're going to play really well off of her. My expectation is they'll probably pick up some kids in the portal too. So I imagine USC will be, top 10 again, back on the horse next year. And
for UConn, what are realistic expectations for next season?
Well, as silly as it sounds, I think the expectations realistically are to go back to the Final Four and put yourself in a position to win a national championship. You have the best player in the country on your team. And to me, that equals deep postseason runs. So I think that's realistic. And I think that will be the expectation. And I think they'll do it.
And is there anyone in the Big East that can come close to beating them or even challenge them?
No, not even close.
Yeah, I didn't think so. WNBA, I know it's early. Who do you see as a couple of the top teams?
I'm going to go Vegas, Minnesota, Indiana, Washington. I'm going to even throw in, I think Golden State's going to be even better this year.
What about Dallas?
Listen, Dallas is going to 100% depend on who they take in this first spot.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, whoever they take with that pick.
Yeah, I think that's just going to make a tremendous difference as what direction they decide to go in. So if you ask me that like 2 weeks from now, I'll be able to answer that a little bit better. I don't think it's impossible for them to be in the mix, but I think they have to make a draft pick based off of future success, not on heartstrings of people.
And then, the WNBA training camps open. Are you excited and looking forward to this season and the fact that they got the CBA done in time and everything should start on time and they added a few more games?
Yeah, I'm as excited as I could be. I guess like none of that stuff really affects the consumer, but I'm excited that they feel a little bit more appreciated, that the women's game has grown this much. That excites me a ton. I'm just saying we have so much young talent in the league right now. I think I'm just kind of excited to see how some of those storylines play out and, get to watch some of these great players hit the floor again.
All right. Well, and I know you are still looking into the transfer portal. I can't believe there's 1,500 girls already in it. Can you see overall? I mean, is it all for you? Division I, Division II, Division III that you get to look at?
I can see
Oh, it
everything,
is.
every sport, every division. Everything.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much. Great show.
All right, man.
Thank you for what you did for your daughter, and have a great weekend. Remember,
All right, you too.
when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them back at life.